I knew the time would come, but I regretted it. I regretted knowing like 12, 13 years ago. It's a lofty weight. There are a lot of people who, over the years, would view everything that I have to say as nihilism. But nihilism is just it's a mere gateway. When you see that this fight between angels and demons, good and bad, Democratic and Republican, positive and negative, as it switches places, you're caught in the cognitive dissonance, choosing the illusion. And that's what our current state of reality is. And it's also a fragile reminder that reality itself, seeming as bad as it is, no matter which stage you're at, it always will get worse, you know. So again, people would say, "Oh, you're a nihilist." If you choose Neoplatonism or Platonism, animism, Luciferianism, all the same. Wiccan or white lighter, Pangloss optimism, you're not making a choice out of the rational scope of, we have this available, right? This is what is. And so, rather than, it's not even accepting, rather than seeing the truth, which is always right in front of our faces, you know, that people like Trump, Putin, Xi Jinping, they needed to know the ultimate truth. And in this, they had to face their own ultimate truth. And that's why they all seem like, if you were to see them on the street, they seem like weak characters. You have this fat bozo in a terrible suit that's Trump, argumentative, who would get kicked out of any coffee shop. We're talking about just the raw personality of the person. He'd get called old man, and people would kick the back of his calves and make him fall, and he would change. Based on that, he would hide. He would go into his apartment and hide. Putin, this little tiny guy, with his big eyes, putting his hands in his pocket with his bald head, looking up at everyone with this small man's complex. Xi Jinping, with his circles under his eyes, carrying such a lofty weight. Repressed, suppressed in the mathematics, not the smartest Asian that you'll ever meet in your life, and by far not the dumbest, but a compliant member that sees the esoteric truth, the aspects that can only be termed as esoteric or arcane. Because to see this any other way, one would have to formulate some new etymology, some new nomenclature, some new words that better describe the fantastical nature of our true current state of reality, which is it's scary because you get into the morphological aspects of form. What is pleasant, what is comfortable to us, what is aesthetic, what is phi or phi based, what follows a golden mean formulation, and then the truth that there are these cyclopean structures that follow. In other words, we are assuming that gravity is pleasant, that it's consistent, even though it is the very force that ages us, gives us bone problems, kills us off, causes us to feel like we're carrying 1,000 pounds on our back. But without it, the atmosphere would break apart because the electromagnetic belts wouldn't be there, and we would no longer have an atmosphere, and assumably it would be very much like Mars right now. So we're always living with this Faustian deal, this dichotomy. But in truth, form follows function, function into form. The beauty, the assumable beauty that we look for throughout the universe, that we're looking at when we look at it at a mirror, when we choose a mate, what we think we're looking for is a conditional form that is the form of the slave within the process of choosing, being forced to, right? These forces, these quote unquote natural forces, these immutable forces around us that bring us to this altar, this place where we, time immemorial, seem to be making a choice that we choose the pleasantry, we choose the blue pill, we choose to remain ignorant because we don't want to know, we don't want to see what we would become without this grounding mechanism that is also our prison.